Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Saturday, April 18th, 2026. This is Truth News. I am Walter Bass. I'm going to try to cover a lot today. The government, these public servants, as they call themselves, just keep giving we the people material. And it's hard when you just tell the truth and advocate for justice, humanity, children, human decency. When you advocate for these things, it is hard to compress everything going wrong in our nation and our society with our public servants in 30-minute clips, but I will do my best. Today is day 1682 since my son was kidnapped, violently sexually assaulted, and murdered by serial child killer state judge Kelly Hansen. As always, we pull up a picture of the man responsible for all of these YouTube videos, the emails, the phone calls, the federal casework I've put in for 1,682 days, because that man kidnaps, rapes, murders, and sells children for going on 17 years. Thousands of victims of children over his 17-year career as a state judge, because he likes to stick his dick in children. And all of these YouTube videos and everything is so that man could stick his dick in that child. That's my son. So because Kelly Hansen wanted to stick his dick in a 7-year-old child, I got to work 40 hours a week. I got to send emails every day. I got to make phone calls every day. I got to make YouTube videos every day, which yesterday I took the day off from the YouTube videos. I had to have a break from the insanity, the lunacy, the evil, and just kind of meditate, clear my mind, and woosah, if you would. So we're going to get into this today. And some of you might be asking, Walter, why do you always do these videos? You have 12 subscribers. I do these videos because I have a moral obligation as a servant of Jesus Christ to stand for truth and justice. And that is why every show I put a Bible verse in to glorify my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, number one. And number two, to go against evil and lies, you got to stand for good and truth. So I stand for my beliefs and my convictions. And I am willing to die for those beliefs and convictions. So, that being said, let's get into today's show. It's going to be like a smorgasbord. Today it's just a lot of different topics, all on basically the same subject, which is the evil and the lack of decency, humanity, or respect or dignity by our trusted elected public servants. And we're going to start with yesterday. Pedophile punk Donald Trump, the world's most famous child rapist, said the war is over and the strait is open. The war that wasn't a war. Let's be clear on that. It wasn't a war, but the war is over. And the strait is open. Today, the strait is closed. This guy, this demon, this guy, at this point, at this stage of the game, with all of the Pam Bondis, the Cash Patels, the Dan Bonginos, the Lindsey Grahams, the Donald Trumps, the Caroline Levitts, the Pete Hegseths, if you step back and look at all these people, all of their public appearances, even Erica Kirk, look at all of them. This is a humiliation ritual while they destroy our nation. And they're mocking us to our face. They're doing this intentionally. They know exactly what they're doing. They are doing evil and smiling at us and looking us in the eye and saying they're not doing evil while they're doing evil. It's a humiliation ritual for the destruction of the United States by what's known as a Trojan horse and an infiltration. It's an inside job. They have sold us out. They're caught raping children, murdering children, selling children. They're caught doing drugs. They're caught with their orgies. They're just deviants. These people are godless, soulless bags of flesh. That is all they are. Bags of flesh. They are hollow, they are empty, they are nothing, and they know it. The only thing that makes them feel like there's something is the cameras, the microphones, and their little suits and ties and their skirts and blouses. And the only time they feel anything is when they are violating their own bodies. So Trump said there's no tolls or restrictions on the Strait of Hormuz. That's a lie. There's tolls and restrictions. It's being blatantly obvious. Pedophile punk Donald Trump said the Epstein survivors don't want to testify in front of Congress. Would you, as a rape victim, as a child, if you were raped as a 13-year-old child, 10, 15, 20, 30 years later, would you want to go back in front of a large group of people who are all liable and responsible for your rape as a child and tell your story to these very demons that participated in the crimes against you? I mean, does that make sense? How about pedophile punk who raped and beat Katie Johnson at 13 years old? How about you testify under oath? How about you testify about Ivana Trump being murdered and buried at your golf course so you could save $1? How about that? How about you testify against molesting Ivanka Trump, your own daughter? How about you go under oath in front of Congress and we talk about how Ivanka Trump was molested by you? How you pimped your own daughter out. How about that? What do you think? She's married to Jared Kushner because he is handsome and intelligent? You sold your own daughter as a sex slave to a Jew. That's a fact. These people, here's my question. I was watching this morning, the Midas Touch, Keith Edwards, and I'm seeing clips of these reporters, female reporters, on Air Force One with a known rapist. First of all, why are broadcasting companies who have employees that are women, why would you allow women to be around a serial rapist alone without security? This is not normal. I'm not going to normalize this. They're trying to normalize that men in power have a right to rape and abuse women because that's the nature of having a position of power and authority. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to normalize it. Not going to be a part of it. So why does the media keep entertaining the world's most famous child rapist? That's my question. Why do we keep revisiting a serial liar, a serial rapist, a murderer, and why do we entertain him with cameras and microphones? Why are we even listening to what an 80-year-old dementia patient in full-blown denial and full-blown psychopathy, why are we entertaining what he has to say? I mean, it's almost like we've elected Charles Manson, Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy. It's like we've elected these people and the media just keeps going to them. So what do you have to say, Mr. Manson, about the Strait of Hormuz? At what point do you detach and say, look, this is not a human being. This is not a person of interest. When it comes to any substance or intelligence or morals, they have nothing to contribute to humanity or society. Therefore, we are removing your access to pollute our nation with your lunacy. At what point will the mainstream media, the three ringleaders of the circus, whatever you want to call them, when will they remove the cameras and microphones from an 80-year-old rapist and murderer posing as President of the United States of America? This man is not a president. He is a pedophile. He is a rapist. He is a murderer. Let me tell you something. I respect the person, not the position. I have worked for companies where the leadership was so corrupt and just so ignorant that I went and got another job. I said, I can't work for someone who operates like this. This is not normal. And I'm not going to accept it as normal. I'm not going to normalize it. See, that's what's called having boundaries and morals and ethics. Not for sale. I'm not for sale. So a lot of people are for sale. And if you want to sell your soul for a little bit of nothing, that's your choice. But don't sell the whole country because you have a camera and a microphone. Don't try to convince the whole country. Everyone sell. Sell your souls. Give it away. Let us take it. Most people are giving their souls away these days. They're not. It's little to no effort needed. Here you go. I'll believe anything you say and do anything you want me to do. I don't think so. The government as a whole, this parasitic organism of creatures, has no dignity, decency, or respect for themselves, for people in general, for our country, for our children, for the future. None. They don't care. And this is going to be my opinion. I'm going to put this in there. Pedophile punk Donald Trump is intentionally doing all of this. And he is destroying. He don't want anyone to come behind him. He wants to be the last. See, that was his goal. As he's dying, he's 80 years old with dementia. He knows he's dying. He is withering away right before our eyes. He has lost his mind. He has lost control over his bowels. He is a demonic creature who knows he's dying, and he's mad at the world that everyone gets to live on, and he's got to die and go burn in hell. And he knows he's going to hell. He's made that abundantly clear himself. He said it himself. He's going to hell. And what he's decided is, since he's got to die and go to hell, he is going to make everyone he can miserable. And he wants to be the last person to ever be president. He wants to be the last person to make America free and give our country a chance. He wants us to live in absolute chaos, turmoil, dissension, and hate as a whole country because he don't get to be here anymore. He don't get to participate anymore. He's dead and he knows it. So he thinks everyone should go with him. It's not fair. It's not fair that he's got to go die and burn in hell and people get to go on living and he can't. He don't think that's fair. And that's what this is all about. So yesterday, 50 countries got together. 50 nations. Italy, the UK, Ukraine, I think Spain. There's 50 nations. You know who wasn't there? The United States, our representatives. Pedophile punk Donald Trump. He was busy with the black widow who murdered her husband for hundreds of millions of dollars, Erica Kirk. He was busy with her. So he got snubbed by 50 nations because he's intentionally doing all this. It's a humiliation ritual. That's all this is. This entire regime, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, Caroline Leavitt, Pete Hegseth, Scott Bessent, Donald Trump, the entire Howard Lutnick, it's a humiliation ritual destroying our country as revenge and retaliation because some of them are dying, most of them are exposed for raping, murdering, and eating children. And it's retaliation, tit for tat. Tit for tat. And Trump said that the other day. He's a tit for tat guy. They do it to us, we do it to them. He was referring to China doing a hack on our computer systems. They do it to us, we do it to them. Tit for tat. That's all this is. It's the most diabolical and evil game of tit for tat the country has ever seen, and the world has ever seen. And it's destroyed. An eye for an eye leaves everyone blind. And these people are so blind and ignorant, they don't even know that you got to live here too. What do you think? Your money makes you live in different places? You got to live in the same place we do. That's fact. So on Air Force One, with the women journalists, I use that term loosely, journalists, who were asking him questions, which I totally disagree with. I don't think any woman should be allowed in the presence of a serial rapist without an escort of some sort or protection. Period. Full stop. If Iran doesn't agree to go along with Trump's delusional psychosis and live in his little made up world that he has made up completely in his demented, smooth brain, then we start bombing them again on Wednesday. Isn't it funny that every Friday when the markets close, the Strait of Hormuz is open, the war is over, and everything's great. And then every Monday we go back to the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and we're bombing, and there's drones, and the ships are being turned around. Do you see a pattern? I mean, we've been doing this like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. It's disgusting. And after the 50 nations joined together and snubbed us, it's pretty obvious that pedophile punk Donald Trump has made America a punk nation. Our whole nation, we're viewed as the punk of planet Earth. America is the new punk of planet Earth because we have a punk for a president. Period. Full stop. That's it. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. That is the truth. Donald Trump is a punk. The epitome of the word, the definition of the word. There's so many words that fit him: malignant narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, lunatic. But you can just sum it all up with just punk. He's just a punk bully. And he's mad because Iran will not be bullied. And they don't have to be. And they shouldn't be. Who wants to be bullied by a pedophile rapist? I mean, it's one thing to be bullied by a big guy, a tough guy, or, a martial artist or something like that. But a pedophile rapist bully a Muslim nation of 92 million people? I don't think so. It's not going to happen. And I believe most of America has more trust and respect for Iran than we do the United States of America. Let that sink in right now. With the Lego videos, with Iran posting the truth on their accounts about how Donald Trump's a liar, they didn't agree to anything. They show up in numbers when they negotiate with the two real estate developer, punk's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, that he sold his daughter to, and J.D. Vance, the Maybelline man. Iran shows up with numbers in force, greeted with dignity and respect. America shows up with a Jewish rapist, a real estate developer, and a homosexual vice president who wears eyeliner. That's what we got. It's disgusting. I mean, America has committed crimes against humanity, war crimes, and murdering American troops. This is all intentional. It's all intentional. And this is the truth. We know Trump is living in delusional psychosis, la la land. Nothing is real in his demented mind. None of this stuff, it's like a video game to him. It's theater, because he puts on theater. Like having a DoorDash of McDonald's brought to the White House and knocking on a door to deliver McDonald's. So you're telling me a McDonald's employee can just walk up to the White House with 2 sacks, brown sacks that you don't know what's in them, and knock on the door of the White House? We don't think that's a security threat? You don't think a random person from McDonald's with 2 bags walking up to the White House, you think that's going to be allowed and acceptable? I don't think you can get inside the steel fence of the grounds of the White House, especially unbeknownst, unannounced, unknown, with 2 brown bags. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But the Kabuki theater show of America, this spectacle, the highest produced, highest overrated, worst reality show in history, our government, which is nothing but a big reality show. It's a farce, it's a scam, it's a facade, it's a fugazi. Nonsense. It's like a C C production of a Hollywood movie. You've heard of B movies? This is like a C or a D movie. I mean, this is like high school drama class stuff. Contradictions, lies, and nonsense. That's all we get from all of these people. Scott Bessent said, we are not going to give a sanction waiver to Russia for their oil. 2 days later, there's a sanction waiver so Russia can sell oil without any repercussions. This is a intentional humiliation ritual. They are intentionally going in front of these cameras and saying all of this stuff and then doing the exact opposite. This has been the pattern of behavior from day one. This is the pattern of behavior from the campaign trail. No new wars, make America great again, the golden age of America, give the country back to the people, obliterate the deep state, drain the swamp. Remember all of that on the campaign trail? Where's it at? I'm seeing the exact opposite. So on True Social, we get rants from a raping retard. The guy is a raping retard, and all he does is rants on True Social from like 10 at night till 4 in the morning. That's sundowners. That's sundowners is what that is. We all know it. The Epstein Transparency Act. And subpoenas ignored. So Congress sends a subpoena to Pam Bondi. She don't show, just completely ignored. The Epstein Transparency Act, which is law, yeah, that's just ignored. Yeah, that's just ignored. So we have a lawless society. So when you have a lawless society, that would mean you're living in chaos and dissension. Because your two options are law and order, structure and organization, or chaos and dissension. So we're in chaos and dissension, obviously. These lawless lunatics are not interested in truth or justice. And if you don't have truth, you have no nation. You don't have a functioning society without truth and justice. The reason the Roman society lasted so long, the same Romans that crucified Jesus, the reason their empire lasted so long is because they were very firm with strict justice. They understood that in order for a society to function, you have to have laws that are properly enforced across the board, and justice has to be served. You can't allow one person to do something and not another person to do something, because that's going to tip the scales of balance. It has to be fair and equal for all. If it's not fair and equal for all, it begins to get lopsided. And I want you to think of like this bottle spinning like this. As long as everything is equal, it spins, it'll roll just fine. It'll roll just fine. But when it starts to get off balance and off kilt, then it's going to tumble. And that's where we are. We went from a smooth rolling society of truth and justice. Now we're just a tumbling nation of tribes. Just a tribal nation tumbling downward. We don't have a nation. We don't have a society. What we have is a satanic sex occult with money. The Jeff Bezos, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Elon Musk, the Donald Trumps, the Pete Hegseths, the Marco Rubios, Scott Bessent, Lindsey Graham, Benny Johnson, sex cult with money. That's all it is. That's all it is. They're demonic. They're evil. And they're using the Bible and Christianity and family values and American laws to hide everything they're doing. Pete Hegseth is quoting Pulp Fiction and claiming it's biblical. Let me repeat that. Pete Hegseth is quoting a Quentin Tarantino movie, Pulp Fiction, and claiming it's biblical. If you think a Hollywood production is biblical and should be recited in the Pentagon, and I believe it was at a prayer breakfast, you are malfunctioning somewhere, seriously. That's malevolent, is what that is. Nefarious is what it is. To put things in perspective, Iran has more trust and credibility with the United States people than the United States government. Let me repeat that again. Iran has more trust and credibility with the people of the United States of America than the government of the United States of America does. If anyone on this planet needs a regime change, it's the United States of America. The CIA, the FBI, NSA, Homeland Security, all that's got to go. They all got to go. They're done. They serve no role or function in our society. They serve no purpose. They serve evil. They serve mass murder. They serve human trafficking. They serve child sex trafficking. They serve crimes against humanity. That is who our intelligence agencies serve. They do not serve we the people. They do not serve our nation. They do not serve our Constitution. They do not serve humanity, period, full stop. That's well documented. From JFK's assassination to Charlie Kirk's assassination and every single one in between. That's it. This was good. Pete Hegseth, we went over the Pulp Fiction quote. He claims that the media are like the Pharisees and the scribes, who were the rich and elites of their time. Always watching Jesus, and when he healed on the Sabbath, the man with the withered hand healed his hand on the Sabbath, tried to use it against him. Kind of like Pete Hegseth tries to use American laws and the Bible to justify murdering 165 innocent children with a Tomahawk missile. Let me repeat that. The same man who tries to justify blowing up a school with a Tomahawk missile, murdering 165 innocent children in one fell swoop, is trying to say that the media, for reporting the truth about him murdering 165 children with a Tomahawk missile, are like the rich and elites of Jesus' day, the Pharisees and the scribes. How much is Pete Hegseth worth? Let's look this up real quick. And I can already see we're going to go a little over on today's show. Like I said, it's hard to fit this much information into 30 minutes. Pete Hegseth worth. I'm sure it's millions. Oh, look at there. That's estimated $3 million. And that includes $4.6 million in salary from Fox News between 2022 and 2024. So for 2 years, he made $4.6 million. And he wants to talk about the rich and elites, the Pharisees and the scribes. Maybe he should find a mirror. What's going on, what we're witnessing is, there's a saying that the only crazy person in the insane asylum is the doctor. We the people have become the doctor in the insane asylum. Our government is literally operating an insane asylum on Pedophile Hill. In Congress, that is a technical and clinical insane asylum. And we the people who see the truth, who speak the truth, and are attacked, threatened, murdered, terrorized by the inmates of this insane asylum, we have become the doctors. We have become the overseers. So maybe we should all band together, and when they're in session, when all 435 members are in Congress, maybe we should just lock them in and let them keep their phones, let them keep their money and their credit cards. Just lock them in and tell them, we'll make a slot for you to get food, and you can just live in there. Just stay there for the rest of your lives. Just stay there. No cameras are coming in. No microphones are coming in. You can do your little bills and legislature. You can still do all that stuff. Just keep it inside the walls and the halls and the chambers. Keep it all there, and nobody's going to acknowledge you. Nobody's going to mess with you. There will be no cameras, no microphones. And you 435 clinical psychopaths can just sit in there and argue, and we'll ship food in. You can order DoorDash. We'll make sure it gets to you. Your McDonald's can be DoorDashed. You can get your pizza and your jerky DoorDashed. It's not going to be the pizza that you're used to, But we can make accommodations, and I think we the people, that's what I think we should do, is just leave them where they are and shut it down and just go on without them. You know, just go on without them. We don't need a bunch of predators, pedophiles, cannibals, rapists, murderers. We don't need Eric Swalwells and Ruben Gallegos and George Santos's and Donald Trump's and Pete X's. We don't need these rapists, murderers, pedophiles, and cannibals to go about and take care of our country. We the people are the plumbers, we're the electricians, we're the painters, we're the auto repair people, we are the food preparation people, we run our businesses, we fix the electricity, the high lines, the water, the gas, the utilities. We do that, they don't. Let's just go up there and lock them in and leave them there, and they can play kabuki theater all they want. Maybe we'll send in a couple of fake cameras so they think they're talking to a camera. Maybe we'll just, maybe we'll pay people to just go in there. We need you to go in for an hour and make them think that they're still governing, like they did Donald Trump's dad when he had dementia. Just make these people think that they're still in charge, that people actually care about what they do or say. And we'll send in somebody and do a fake little interview, and we'll put a TV in there and we'll play it on their own little closed circuit television. It won't get sent out to the rest of the world. We'll just leave it on their little closed circuit TV, and they can watch themselves on TV. And we'll just operate without them. We don't need these people. We don't need rapists, cannibals, murderers, and pedophiles and thieves from hundreds or thousands of miles away. So we can go out here and go to work and fix roads and make sure we have electricity and water and power. And we don't need these scumbags. We really don't. So I'm already 32 minutes in. We're going to go a little bit over. I'm going to wrap this up. So I just wanted to touch base on the Athens, Georgia, and the TPUSA. I just did a show on this the other night. And the comment J.D. Vance said, he was heckled. Somebody in the 80 person audience, 80 people, give or take, someone said, you're killing children. You're killing children. J.D. Vance's response to "you're killing children" is, maybe you should blame the Biden administration. You're killing children. Well, blame Biden. Lunacy. I mean, at some point, our government has become a cancer on our country. The United States government is a cancer to our country, and it is infesting and rotting our entire country. At some point, we have to remove it. We have to cut it out to save the society. Well, that's what you do when you have a cancer. If you get a cancer of a lung, you remove the lung to try to save the rest of the body. We have a cancer known as the United States government, top to bottom, from the president to state judges to local. I mean, we have to remove ourselves from these people. We have to. There's no other way. We're not going to vote our way out of this. The vote, that's done. That's done. Those are paid for by Peter Thiel and Jeff Bezos and Sheldon Adelson and Miriam Adelson and Ben Shapiro and Mark Levine. These are the people who are buying elections. That's well documented. There's no voting. It's buying. We're not going to get out of this. The United States government is a cancer that must be removed from our country to save our country. Period. Full stop. You take that how you want to take it. Otherwise, we're the greatest country in the world is going to continue in this downward death spiral because of dementia-ridden, drug-addicted, alcoholic, rapist, murderers, pedophiles, and thieves. The Pharisees and the scribes 2,000 years ago were preying on widows, the weak, and the vulnerable. And these same parasites are profiting by trafficking the weak and the vulnerable, the innocent. Children, women, dividing families, making women single moms, encouraging them to be single moms so they can have their children trafficked. Intentionally inducing homelessness to financially profit from trafficking homeless people, including our veterans who fought for this country. So, ladies and gentlemen, I went a little over. I apologize. I will try to condense it. Like I said, there's so much material. When you speak the truth, you stand for dignity, decency, humanity, values, and justice. It is hard to condense everything going on into a 30-minute video, but I do my best. So we're going to go with Romans 12:1. We're going to start there, and I think this is very important, and it's because of these weapons. Romans 12:1. Therefore, I urge you, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living and holy sacrifice. A living and holy sacrifice. Do you think that includes sexual deviancy, homosexuality, bestiality, raping children? I don't think so, but I digress. To present your bodies a living and holy sacrifice acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect. The renewing of your mind. Faith comes by hearing. Faith comes by hearing. That is why I listen to John MacArthur every day. I listen to a lot of spiritual, biblical material every day, and I'm very cautious where I get it from. I'm not listening to Joel Osteen, T.D. Snakes, Steve Furtick, or this, Paula White, that demon. No. I read and listen to the Word of God because it is very, very important right now with what's going on in the world, in our nation, and with these demons, this satanic sex occult that is literally devouring nations. Gaza, Lebanon, America, all over. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for your time. Thank you for your attention. I ask that you please like, share, subscribe to this channel. Even if I get 1 view or I get 1 million views, really doesn't matter. I send these links across the country in email every single day as I document everything our government does, what I've been through, and hope that my trials and tribulations will help someone wake up and try to make themselves better, or at least be prepared for the reality of the evil that is going on in our world. So thank you all. Like, share, subscribe. I will see you either later today or tomorrow.